Now, the most common comment I'm used to seeing is, how is Leah doing? Anybody that has been following this channel for any significant amount of time, you all know about some of the behind the scenes struggles we've had as a family. And so this may be the easiest sponsorship we've done, because Google set up something to help new moms dealing with postpartum depression, which is exactly what Leah dealt with for both of her pregnancies.
It was just incredible to have like this other little being, this tiny little baby home with us. And we were just excited. Like everything was just like, look at her. And LaGuardia had the camera out. He was just, so amazed in his own way. So his way is like having the camera in her face. And that's when he started New Father Chronicles. So that was just like, it was just out of pure love and fascination over, wow, we made a baby together. Amala was maybe a month old when I started having these feelings. Her cry, like it was really hard to hear her cry. It made me feel panicky because she was colicky at the time. She would cry nonstop, no matter what we did. We tried all kinds of things. We went to the pediatrician. They had us trying all kinds of things, and I just couldn't take it. And I was feeling weird because my emotions would go from like panicking, like in distress, like because my baby's in distress and I'm not able to comfort her, to like frustration because there's nothing I'm able to do to like help her. And I felt bad because it was just like, so you're allowed to be gifted with a child and you can't even take care of her, and she's not even asking much from you. It just made me like feel like less than a person. I felt like scum because I wanted her and then I wanted to give her back. And I didn't feel like a mom. I didn't even feel like a woman. I felt like I cheated, like being allowed to like give birth to a healthy baby because I couldn't take care of her and I didn't know what to do except for wanting to retreat and hide. I distinctly remember her being about 10 weeks. And, LaGuardia was there the whole time, witnessing everything, hearing me, cry and, just being depressed. And I just didn't see it enough to be like, I need help. It was just, I knew something was off, but I didn't know to even think like, oh, you're just having, a more intense bout of depression. And I think I also felt like, well, I'm supposed to have it together. Like you just had a baby. You're supposed to be happy. What's wrong with me? And so that's when he suggested we go to the psychiatrist. And I told them what happened. And they were like, you are suffering from postpartum depression and you had a high risk of developing it because you were already dealing with major depressive disorder. She eventually, stopped having colic, but the crying already got to me. It already made its impact. And so anytime she cried, it was like I felt like this anxiety of like, just make her comfortable, make her, whatever you have to do to make her comfortable. It was just really hard to hear her cry and be in any kind of distress. And I had to have my meds changed again, and they were increased. And then I think that's when I started to kind of stable out, and I was like in a better space of functioning. But it was difficult the whole way through her infancy and her being a baby. There's a lot of stigma around mental illness, which is just still baffling to me, about how much our society, our family, our friends, just strangers, we still downplay the significance of mental illness. It doesn't make you less than a woman, and it doesn't make you less than a mom. We feel we're supposed to embrace motherhood with like flowers and hearts and rainbows and unicorns. And the reality is that it's hard. It's the most life-changing thing amongst maybe a few other things that you go through in this human experience. If you find yourself in a dark place, it is okay to get help. it is okay to be on medication for a while. It is okay to go to therapy. I can't sit here and totally preach to you and say, if you don't take care of yourself, your children will suffer. But I can tell you, I am still a hard-headed student, still learning that lesson to put myself first, because my instinct is to be there for the kids, because after all, they didn't ask for this and we're the adults in the situation. But the reality is, you think about, the common analogy is when you're in the airplane and the mask come down, the parents are supposed to put the mask on first and then you give it to the child. Because if you have nothing in you, how can you give from emptiness? How can you give anything from emptiness? And I'm still having a really hard time embracing the fact that I have to take care of myself first before I can even consider being a wonderful mommy to them.
So we're putting a link in the description to Google's self-assessment tool for new moms. Please use it. It is free and it can help. And that's our whole reason to want to do this video. Share your stories and let's break the stigma. Let's break the stigma that we gotta hold this weight on our own and hide it. No, you can be a great mom and still have things to deal with, but you can get help, and getting help is okay. It's okay for our family and it's okay for yours.